Good, happy Tuesday morning, November 26th, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday morning, so let's begin. First up, 5 juveniles hospitalized after overdose call at Manchester Youth Treatment Facility. Officials say all 5 had non-life-threatening injuries. Let's take a listen to the video from WR News 9.
Someone gets a job that wouldn't have had it otherwise. Someone gets a house that wouldn't have had it otherwise. Some family has a place to take their children for preschool that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Our donors like that they help people help themselves.
At 11, 5 juveniles have been taken to the hospital tonight after firefighters responded to an overdose call.
The Manchester Fire says they were dispatched to Granite Pathways Youth Treatment Center, that's over on River Road, just before 8:30 tonight. Officials say 5 kids were transported with non-life-threatening injuries, but investigators would not say if they actually overdosed. At least a half dozen ambulances were on the scene at the youth center.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Inspector General makes 17 recommendations to improve Manchester VA Medical Center. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9, Cherise LeClaire.
A 78-page report detailing an inspection at the Manchester VA Medical Center this past spring. After reviewing 8 areas, finding deficiencies in 7 of them, the Inspector General came up with a list of 17 recommendations, ranging from documentation concerns to noncompliance with Veteran Health Administration protocols. Staffing is one of those concerns. At the Urgent Care Center, the report says the OIG identified deficiencies with nurse staffing, backup call schedules for urgent care center providers, and availability of support services. Responding to those staffing concerns, the Manchester VA reduced its urgent care operating hours back on August 30th. It had been open around the clock. And construction work is underway on a new urgent care mental health care addition, 16,000 square feet that will, among other things, allow for expanded mental health service. Communication, another area the report says needs to be fixed when it comes to military sexual trauma. 77% of the patients at the facility who tested positive for MST were not referred for MST-related services, which is VA protocol. The Inspector General recommending that change and providers get the necessary training. And when it comes to the areas where patients are seen, the report says the OIG identified noncompliance with environment of care cleanliness, infection prevention, and safety. And the Manchester VA just releasing a statement telling us in part, quote, the facility concurs with all of the OIG's recommendations and has a comprehensive plan in place to implement them in less than a year's time. Manchester VA officials and the Inspector General agreeing on dates to complete each of those recommendations. Monica?
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Laconia City Council tables study on replacing railroad tracks with recreational trail. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9, Jean Mackin.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
The Laconia City Council is proposing a study of how to fill in about 10 miles of gaps on the 20-mile stretch. But should the WOW Trail, which stands for Winnipesaukee, Opeechee, Winnisquam, run alongside the railroad tracks or on top of them? The Hobo and Winnipesaukee Scenic Railroad doesn't want to be run out of town.
I'm asking, please, pump the brakes on this measure. It could have long and detrimental consequences. Removal of the rails would be short-sighted.
The railroad says it's an economic engine generating more than $17 million a year with nearly 70 employees. And railroad representatives say track removal would violate federal and state law.
The plan to remove rails for trail is in direct conflict with state law. That law was written by men and women, and it can be changed by men and women.
In the end, the City Council tabled the rail controversy until more information is gathered.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Anyone else?
And City Councilors say this is a positive step to figuring out how tracks and trail can both be improved. Live in Laconia tonight, Jean Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Executive Council votes to remove Merrimack tolls on Everett Turnpike. Tolls to end on January 1st on New Year's Day. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
Nature isn't the only force that can leave its mark, especially when you have a tractor built to help make your property your own.
Perhaps not surprisingly, we couldn't find anyone in Merrimack who's upset by this decision. People say this has been a long time coming. The proposal got the green light. Starting New Year's Day, drivers won't have to pay the toll at exit 11 on the Everett Turnpike in Merrimack.
The Merrimack people need a break, so I'm really happy to hear that.
We've paid our fair share long enough. I've been here living in New Hampshire over 40 years, and that is just perfectly great. Nice Thanksgiving gift.
That gift was approved this morning by the Executive Council following years of debate over whether the toll was fair to people in Merrimack.
We've been ripped off for too long, you know. We're just getting on for one exit and having to pay. It's ridiculous. So I'm thrilled.
The tolls were built 30 years ago. Drivers found ways around the charge.
I go down that highway every day and I spend, 50 cents both ways coming back and forth to home, so.
You ever avoid the area knowing that you're going to have to pay it?
I have done so, definitely.
According to transportation leaders, the toll generates about $1.2 million a year for the state.
I'm not really that concerned over that. They're going to find another way to get the money.
Ultimately, lawmakers decided it came at a cost for those in town.
When they were making the decisions back then, I don't think they really thought about what it was going to do 40, 50 years down the road. People got tired of it.
So the physical structure itself will remain, but come January 1st, people just won't have to pay anything as they drive through. In Merrimack, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Police investigate after 5 goats found dead in trash bags in Guilford. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Monica Fernandez.
Now, Guilford police asking for help after 5 domestic goats were found dead in trash bags. Police believe the animals have been dumped at the top of Liberty Hill Road within the last day or two. Police say several of them appear to be malnourished. Anyone with information should call Guilford police.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire elementary school closed because of flu outbreak. School to remain closed today. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
November is cab month at your My Hidra tractor dealer. Get special cabs.
The Washington Elementary School was empty Monday morning after several students and staff became sick.
We felt it would be in the best interest for everybody, both teachers and students, to close the school for the day.
10 of their 45 students stayed home last Friday with flu-like symptoms.
We also, over the weekend, were informed that 4 of the 6 full-time employees were also out sick with either the flu being identified or flu-like symptoms.
3 cases of the flu have been officially confirmed so far. Right now, the school's custodian is cleaning and sanitizing common surfaces.
We have a really good cleaning facility up there, clean facility. Our custodian up there is wonderful. She keeps surfaces clean, doorknobs clean, but still these are pretty strong germs that are out there right now.
School administration is now pushing good hand hygiene and getting the flu shot just as the state does each year.
Washing hands, covering coughs and sneezes. If someone's sick, especially if they have a fever, it's important to stay home from school or work to prevent, spreading infection to other people.
State health officials say the number of flu cases is low right now in New Hampshire, but they anticipate that will go up over the next several weeks.
If any facility thinks they may be experiencing an outbreak, to give us a call because we can help them manage infection control and take the appropriate precautions to prevent further transmission of infection in their facilities.
Now, the school board meets tonight at the elementary school at 6. Any concerned parents with questions about the flu can attend. Live in studio, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Rehearsal begins as wind threatens Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC7NY.
Breaking news just in.
We begin with new information.
The news doesn't rest on weekends, so catch up with the team you know and trust. Eyewitness News, weekend nights on Channel 7.
Rehearsals begin for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Practice makes perfect, right? Broadway stars, celebrities, and performance groups will begin to prepare for the annual event. This year, there are some worries, though, over the weather's impact on the parade. Under New York City law, balloons cannot fly if sustained winds exceed 23 miles per hour or if gusts are stronger than 34 miles per hour. Every year we worry about this. If it's too windy, the balloons will be grounded and simply walked through the streets. Much lower.
Okay, and there you go. We will keep a close eye on that as it gets closer. Right around the corner in just a couple of days, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. U.S. futures point to a higher open. U.S. stock indexes were slightly higher Tuesday morning. Police kill man wielding machete in Hollywood. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
The deadly police shooting in Hollywood, California, a suspected carjacker with a machete chasing an officer who was trying to stop him. The heart-stopping moment the officer trips and falls, the man with the machete standing right over him. Other officers coming to his rescue, firing to stop the suspect in ABC's Will Carr. With the images tonight, and we warn you, they are disturbing.
Tonight, a deadly confrontation in the heart of Hollywood.
Unit requesting a backup at the cabin just south of Sunset on
211 suspect armed with a machete.
This dramatic cell phone video captures the moment police say a man armed with a machete carjacked someone in this Chick-fil-A drive-thru on Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, he got a machete.
Officers surround the car, then suddenly the suspect hits the gas, takes off, and slams into two nearby police cars.
He got stuck.
Another bystander captured the moment the suspect ran across the busy street, then onto the sidewalk, all while wielding that long machete. An officer pursues. The man with the machete then turns back and starts to chase the officer.
Don't do it! Don't do it!
The officer fires, but the man pushes forward. The machete still in hand. The officer runs into the street, trips and falls, with the armed man standing over him. Several other officers open fire.
That suspect was struck by gunfire and was transported to a local hospital where he has since been declared deceased.
Police recovered the machete, saying the blade was more than a foot long.
Just chaotic scene there playing out this afternoon. Will Carr joining us from that scene in Hollywood. And Will, we're learning tonight that the officers walked away with minor injuries.
That's right, David. Amazingly, after that carjacking, the crash, and then the confrontation with that machete, the only person who was seriously injured was the suspect. He was killed. Tonight, this part of Sunset Boulevard is still shut down during the heart of rush hour traffic here in Hollywood. David.
All right, Will Carr, thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.